After a quick drive down to central Arizona to visit friends, it was time to head north. We had one more long day of driving before we could do our favorite thing, which is to slow down, take in the sights, and explore. We didn't know where we'd find our next campsite, but it turned out to be an unexpected and out-of-the-way gem. Retracing our tracks back to the main highway, we said one last so long to the red rocks in the distance. We climbed back into the pine trees of Flagstaff, then back across the uniquely beautiful Navajo Reservation.
Well, we did not plan to be at this site today. It's been a long day. By the time we got out of the campsite, we had to do a little bit of work this morning as well. We had to do the usual stuff. We had to fill up the water, dump the tanks, get gas, hit the grocery store, and of course all that adds up to a little bit later schedule than we had planned on. And we were headed from the Verde Valley in Arizona up to Monument Valley. We were going to maybe spend the night boondocking somewhere in Medicine Hat, just over the border in Utah. But it was getting pretty late. Honestly, I was getting pretty tired of driving. We've had a lot more driving than I normally like to do a few days in a row. I was getting a little bit cranky. Yeah, that happens. And Steph pulled up iOverlander and found this Navajo National Monument campground. And we've driven by here a few times and seen the sign, but just never, always been in a hurry to get somewhere and just never took the time to drive off-road. And I can tell you, this is definitely worth it. We pulled up here not wondering if we would, or not knowing if we would find a campsite or not, because they have 30-something odd campsites and they're first come, first serve. And honestly, I thought it was a bit of a long shot, but we were tired and it was time to get off the road. And I tell you what, we scored. This place is beautiful. The campground is beautiful. There's bathrooms here. There's some running potable water here. There's supposed to be some Pueblo ruins here. We'll check that out tomorrow. But we're in the Sunset Campground, and behind me is Sunset, and we've got a front row seat for it with our camper down here at the end, just a couple of spots down. And we're, campers a little bit up off the ground, so we've got a nice view of this impending sunset that's coming up here. So having a beer, kicking back, relaxing, and just enjoying this incredible view. Really, really lucky to find this, and really glad Steph was able to find this and get us pointed in this direction. Let's check out the sunset. It's a little breezy out here this morning. We had a beautiful sunset last night and enjoyed a reasonably quiet night. There really wasn't any traffic that came through this campground after we got here. So it was pretty nice all in all. Let me give you a quick tour around this camp loop here. So there's a bathroom, men's and women's, along with a sink here if you're tent camping and need to clean dishes and whatnot. There are no showers, but there is running water and flush toilets, so pretty deluxe if you're used to using your camper. So the campground is limited to rigs up to 28 feet long, and I think that is really
whatever your longest vehicle is. So in our case, we just have the truck camper. But if you were towing a trailer, you could have a trailer up to 28 feet. And you can't fit into every site, but there are several like this one here, which is a pull-through style, which you could clearly fit into. A lot of the sites are short like this, and even 28 feet is pushing it. Your nose is going to be right up against the edge of the roadway. The sites have varying degrees of levelness. Most are off at least a little bit. Our site was pretty level, so we were pretty happy about that. We just used one block, I think, under one wheel. We're about an hour away from Monument Valley. If you head south out of Monument Valley, you can end up over here, and it's about a 10-mile trip in, 10 miles back out from the campsite. Now, pros and cons, this is a gem of a site. Beautiful views, quiet, lovely campground, clean, running water, and it's free. So those things are great. What's the downside? Well, there's no reservations. It is first come, first serve. There aren't a lot of sites. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. There aren't a lot of other options nearby to go camp. This is tribal reservation land around us, and not a lot of boondocking allowed out there. So if you come here and it's full, it's going to be a long trip to wherever your next spot's going to be to camp. So it's a little bit of like rolling the dice. But for us, we got lucky on the roll, and it was definitely worth it. There's a few hikes here, and I'm going to go check out the visitor center next, and then we'll go maybe check out one of those hikes. I understand you can see some ruins from some point along the trail. The visitor center was small, but the displays were top-notch, and the staff was welcoming and helpful. There are several large cliff dwellings at the National Monument, and most are only visible as a guided tour on a long hike. The amazingly detailed dioramas gave a nice example if you're not able to make the trek. A short and accessible hike down the Sandal Trail leads to a nice view of the Betatakin Cliff Dwellings. Betatakin means house built on a ledge in Navajo. It was built in an enormous alcove, 452 feet high and 370 feet across. Its peak occupancy was between 1267 and 1286 AD. There were about 120 rooms at that time. It was constructed of sandstone, mud mortar, and wood. Today, only about 80 rooms remain due to the rockfall damage inside the alcove. During its 2-decade peak occupation, it housed a maximum of about 125 people. So we spent last night at Navajo National Monument, which turned out to be a really nice surprise. Some beautiful scenery there, and nice little hikes, and a great campground. And that's only about an hour up the road from Monument Valley, so it was really easy to get a little bit of hiking in this morning, jump in the truck, and head on up here for the rest of the day. So today we're going to be doing the loop drive, which is of course the really popular classic drive around the park, and seeing the sights down there. It's beautiful. We've done this before, so we're looking forward to seeing this again today. Traffic is pretty light. It's kind of the shoulder season, and there's definitely people here, but nothing like a peak season trip, so that'd be really nice down there. Steph is in the truck right now. She had a meeting. We had to do a little bit of work this morning, and she did have a meeting she had to attend this afternoon. So once she wraps that up, we're gonna hit the road. We've had a good time walking around Monument Valley. Certainly is a beautiful place. It's fun to stop at the jewelry stands here, because the folks that are working those stands actually live here in the valley, and they are doing their own work, and some of it is really beautiful silver and stone work at a pretty reasonable price, I think, for what you're getting. So check that out. Talk to these folks. It's pretty interesting to hear what it's like growing up here in the Monument Valley. Just to let you know, there's a lot of things you can't do here in Monument Valley. Most of these for a good reason. Of course, all my photos show us out here like we're by ourselves. But people kind of come in waves. This is a French-speaking tour group.
I assume from Canada. But if that gets to be a problem, just get yourself out of sync. Go a little slower, let them get ahead, and you won't have to worry about silliness like this. The tour group is packing up and leaving. In a moment, we should have this place all to ourselves, and all will be well in the world again.
We had a great day taking in Monument Valley, and as the sun dropped in the sky, the shadows and colors became even more spectacular. We took in the last amazing views as we drove out from the park and headed for Utah, hoping to get to camp before sunset.
So don't come to Forrest Gump Point and plan on getting a great photo with only you in it. This place is downright busy.
Today had one more gift for us as we lucked into a spectacular full moon rise behind the Mexican Hat Rock Formation. A final dash brought us to one of the last open cliffside campsites at Gooseneck State Park. Here we rested for the exploring adventures ahead in the Bears Ears National Monument. Take care, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you out there.